Anger over conditions for garment workers in Bangladesh is mounting as the industry deals with its second disaster in months. 200 are now known to have died after a factory building collapsed. Many others are missing or still trapped under the rubble.
With more than 3,000 workers inside the building when it came down, the death toll seems certain to rise. City authorities have filed cases against the building's owner for faulty construction and causing unlawful death. There are reports that cracks had been found in the building the day before and that officials had ordered its closure. Police say the factory owners appear to have ignored a warning not to allow their workers inside.
My wife came to this factory to work in the morning. After learning that the building collapsed, I rushed here looking for my wife, but until now I haven't found her.
According to one report, it's believed some 2,000 people were inside the 8-story building, housing several garment factories and a shopping mall when the upper floors gave way. This is just the latest disaster to hit the Bangladesh garment industry. Last November, a fire at a clothing factory in a suburb of Dhaka killed at least 112 people, and more than 70 people died in 2005 in another building collapse in the same area as Wednesday's disaster. While the cause of this collapse is not yet known, workers told local media cracks had been discovered in the building the previous day.
Poor safety conditions were highlighted last November when 112 lost their lives in a fire at another facility. When the alarm sounded, managers told employees to continue working because it was only a drill. Clothes bound for US giants Walmart and Sears were found in the charred remains, and campaigners criticized them for failing to protect workers, although both firms blame their suppliers for using the factory without their permission.
And some of the survivors with whom I spoke to earlier, they were talking about around 2,000 people in this building, and about 1,000 people have already been rescued, which means there are hundreds of people still trapped inside the wreckage of this collapsed building. I was there a few hours ago and I could see the rescue teams working with searchlights, with the generators, cranes, the army and the Bangladesh border guards and the local volunteers have been working. Some of the locals, they were using bare hands to remove this concrete and iron rod so that they can lift people out from the rubble. But people are also very angry how the garment factories, the clothing factories were allowed to operate in this building. Because just a day before this incident, there were complaints about cracks on the wall and also on some of the pillars. But the officials now say they're investigating. They have registered a complaint against the building owner. But why these people were asked to go back to the factory? That's the question many people here are asking now.
This collapsed building, it has now emerged, was a factory producing clothing for several prominent British high street retailers. Among them, budget chain Primark, which sources much of its clothing from Asia.
There is a great need for knowledge regarding nutrition.
It's a bitter blow for a company which has worked hard trying to spread the word on its ethical trading policies. This video, part of its Her Project, an initiative to improve education and conditions for female workers in Bangladesh. In a statement released last night, it said, Primark confirms that one of its suppliers occupied the second floor of the 8-story building. We have been engaged for several years with NGOs and other retailers to review the Bangladeshi industry's approach to factory standards. We will push for this review to also include building integrity. It's not the only household name to be affected. Both Bonmarsh and Matalan also had links to the site. They say they're doing all they can to offer assistance in the search and rescue.